Kim, what's your response to critical race theory? Are you thinking to yourself, about time, or why now?
You know, well, we know why now, right? This is something that Biden ran on and something that Kamala Harris supports. But this is just going to further the racial divide. You know, he talked about unity, he talked about healing, but when you do something like making white teachers take anti-racist therapy sessions, or, you know, going out and talking about whether or not how they feel about certain students against others, it creates this divide, and it does the whole superior versus inferior. And so what that's going to do is really hurt the students in the long run.
You can help us survive the censorship by doing 3 things. 1, when YouTube unsubscribes you, subscribe back to our channel. 2, change your notifications to bell notifications, thereby giving you the ability to see exactly when you are a victim of censorship. And last but not least, follow thetruthmediagroup.com, home of uncensored content out of big tech's reach.
This is something I've been investigating for the last 6 months, and it's absolutely astonishing how critical race theory has pervaded every institution in the federal government. And what I've discovered is that critical race theory has become, in essence, the default ideology of the federal bureaucracy and is now being weaponized against the American people.
Welcome back to Fox and Friends. A controversial course requirement at a Nevada charter school prompting outrage, and now one mom is suing that school for not letting her son opt out of it. According to the lawsuit, the Sociology Course of Change, that's the name of the course, requirement promoted anti-white racism to students, with some materials discussing internalized privilege and the existence of oppression. Some were asked to label themselves as oppressed or oppressors, or label others. The lawsuit claims a senior student, who is biracial, by the way, was directed to, quote, unlearn Christian principles, and he was threatened with a failing grade when he declined to participate.
On the religion thing, I just need to tell you, so many of you have been raised to believe that religion is for dummies and that sophisticated people are all secular. But it turns out that that's not the case. The secular world has not produced all that much. It produces a lot of knowledge, but it produces no wisdom, and societies function on wisdom.
Well, I mean, I think parents can expect more of this. We know that there are 4,500 classrooms that we know of that are adopting the 1619 curriculum, and we know that critical race theory is also in overdrive, even in our elementary and high schools. Really quick,
County, and I have an 8-year-old named Gabriel, and I withdrew him from public school for a lot of reasons, but now they have hired an equity officer who, from my understanding, they basically teach critical race theory 1619 project, but at the very least, victimhood. So, you know, my son has the opportunity to stay at home and be homeschooled by me and all that. But what about all the other kids? What do we do about an equity officer coming in and teaching kids basically to be Marxists?
Critical race theory is a school of thinking that originated from the Frankfurt School by a guy by the name of Herbert Marcuse. I never can say his name right. Herbert Marcuse came to America and started critical race theory. It's this idea of a couple things. Number one, that racism is everywhere. That whether we know it or not, racism isn't in the air, it's in our bones, it's in our DNA. You ever heard that recently? That we can never escape racism. This is, of course, completely and totally untrue. Completely Democrat. Critical race theory.
Let's talk about critical race theory. So critical race theory, it's a part of critical theory and, of course, intersectionality, but it categorizes people as the oppressed versus the oppressor, not based on all our other identity points, but primarily, if not exclusively, by race. So white people, according to critical race theory, are the oppressors, and non-white people are the oppressed. Specifically, as we've seen most prominently, Black people are part of the oppressed in critical race theory. White people have had privileges, according to critical race theory, that non-white people don't. And we're just talking about, we're brushing people with a broad brush right now, because that's what critical race theory does. It's a collectivist worldview rather than an individualistic one.
The whole point of a great society, of a great culture, of a great civilization is that you go for greatness, not color, not gender. That's the whole point. It's irrelevant, the color and the gender of the person who made greatness. Greatness matters.
White people, according to this theory, have culpability and responsibility, corporate culpability and responsibility, and debt that non-white people do not have. No matter what you've actually done in your life, no matter what you've actually said in your life, no matter what you have actually been actively a part of, it doesn't matter because your identity as a white person has given you privilege according to this theory, and your identity as a non-white person, as a black or brown person, has marginalized you and has made you a part of the oppressed.
Born from the hateful halls of left-wing academia, critical race theory undermines the positive core beliefs of America by redefining the nation as an engine of oppression. This leads to discord in schools, families, and now even work. You know, Emily, I think that CRT is probably one of the worst things that has ever been invented in my life, and that it creates an attitude that replaces optimism and desire for opportunity with grievance and envy. Why would anybody want to hire somebody like that?